Hello everybody, Brian Holder here with WYSIWYGpages.com, and most of you subscribers probably remember me as Brian Holder Graphic and Web Design. I've gone through a bit of a rebrand recently. We just launched WYSIWYGpages.com, the community site anyways, a few days ago. And I'm going to be doing a tutorial today on the CMS tools here in WYSIWYG Web Builder 10. So just for good measure, let's go ahead and pop this open. Let's take a look at our version. I'm running version 10.4.6. If you're running version 10, any number, it probably will not be much different. But notice that the version number in WYSIWYG Web Builder is very important. So just so you know, that's what I'm running. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a basic master frame that I just put together real quick. I got 2 layers and a content placeholder and just a little image here for the logo. And I have 2 different pages that I've put together. I have an admin page, which is blank, and an index page, which is blank. Both are linked to the master page. Okay? So the first thing we want to do is we're going to build out the admin section. And so there's a little section down here in the toolbox called Content Management System, and there's a few different items here. There's 5 different items. So, since we're going to be using the admin section, first off, we're going to grab the CMS admin. We're going to drag this out to our screen. And if you notice all of these horizontal lines, but those are the grid that I'm using. And go to View, and they're basically just guides that I have set up. If you want to join the site, I do have that download available. If you need a copy of that, let me know. If you can't get it, and I will make sure you get a copy. So what I'm going to do is drag this admin area out, make it pretty good size so that we can see what's going on in there. These I like to make a little bit tall because they can get pretty long with all the different options that there are. And so I'm going to make that, I don't know, let's make it 2,000 pixels tall. Okay, oops, and let's put it at the top. Okay. Now when we go into the admin area, we have several different sections. Most of this appearance is just to style the way that the admin area looks. I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't think that's really necessary. You can style it to your taste. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can all see it. Okay. Next is the behavior section. So these are the different things that your admin area is going to do. It comes with a default password, which is called password. Allowed users, that is if you are using this in conjunction with the login tools, you can set it so that only a specific username or usernames can access this. And we're not going to get into that today, but I will on my next video. We're going to continue with the CMS tools and basically using those in conjunction with the login tools. But for right now, for this video, we're just going to focus on getting the CMS tools up and running. Okay, so disable page management for users. I leave that at false. Error reporting you don't need unless you're having problems. Frame name, CMS admin's fine. And then you have this section called plugins. Okay, this is a pretty interesting section because these are the different plugins that are available through the CMS. Okay, and there are a few more I believe that you can download from the WYSIWYG Web Builder website as well. For the most part, the plugins add different functionality to the content management system. The standalone is just going to be, title and what am I trying to think of? You'll have a title, a body, and that's about it, right? But we can add these different functionalities to it. So one of the things we're going to want to add is comments, maybe, and discussion, and that's going to allow your pages to have comments or discussions on them. Here's the downloads. If your website, if you want to have a frequently asked questions section, you may want to download the facts because that's going to allow you to do that. Forms, if you're going to have any kind of forms, you may want to put that in there. You can have mailing list. Let's go ahead and add the plugin manager so we can do management. User manager you may want to have in there. Poll, that's if you plan on having any questions or surveys or anything, you may want to put that in there. And let's put in slideshow, and we'll leave it at that for now. Photo album. Okay. So we'll get a good idea for what all that does. Okay, the admin email address. Some of the plugins that we selected, your website may need to send emails to either yourself or some of the users of the website. So you got to put in your email. This needs to be a real email address because this is what's going to be sent to you. So put in yours. So I'm going to put in brianholder@outlook.com. The from can be a fictitious no reply type address if you want. I tend to use my own address for those because I don't mind if somebody replies. That means that they like what I'm doing and they want to talk to me and interact with me, gives me a chance to sell them. So I always use my own address for the reply address or the from. Okay. Next is a pretty important part. It's for the MySQL database. You do need one of those to work on this. So if you're using cPanel, that's pretty easy to create. I'm going to show you how right now. This is my cPanel, and I'm just going to go down to Databases, and I'm going to go through and run the MySQL Database Wizard. I'm going to click on that, and we got to give it a name. You can name it anything you want as long as it's 57 characters or less. So I'm going to name this CMS Demo. Hopefully I haven't used that before. Nope. Okay, good. And now what we have to do is create a user that's allowed to access that database. I tend to keep these the same, so I'm going to name that CMS Demo again. And you have to give that user a password. So I'm going to give it demo password. And it may not let me do that because it's so weak. Let's see. Yep, okay, it took it. And then we want to select on all privileges because that user needs to be able to alter the database, create things, delete, make events, things of that nature. So just go ahead and click all privileges and click next. And that's it. Now that's set up. Okay. So now we're going to go on back over to WYSIWYG Web Builder and we're going to input all of that information. So the database name is right here. It's the same as the user in my case, so I'm going to copy that. And what you want to make sure is that most of the time, especially if you're on a shared hosting, they're going to put your username or some kind of thing in front of what you named the database. So you got to make sure you get the whole thing and not just what you typed in. That's important. Alrighty, go on to that screen. Okay, so the database name, I'm going to go ahead and paste that in what I copied. And the password we gave it was demo, was it CMS demo? I think it was CMS demo. And the server, if you're using cPanel or it really doesn't matter, as long as the database is going to be on the same server that you publish this website to, you're going to type in localhost. If it's not going to be on the same server, then you're not watching this tutorial because you know exactly what you're doing. And the MySQL name, again, the username was the same as the database name. Okay, and the next section we have is for the editor. So this is going to be the area where we type up all the content that's going to be on the page. The height, I like that to be nice and big, so I'm going to make that 650 pixels tall. And the editor settings, we're not going to input any custom settings. And you have a few different options here for the editor type. These three at the bottom, CL Editor, Tiny MCE, and CK Editor, these are very popular WYSIWYG type text editors. You do need to do, I believe, a little bit of work to get those up and running. I don't think they work right off the bat, but you can have text area, which is just plain text. You can input HTML into it, but you have to know how to code and do CSS. Or you can do the WWB editor, which is the WYSIWYG Web Builder editor. They have one that they've created. And that's the one that I'm going to choose because it's the easiest one to use. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Oh, real quick, I did not talk about the table prefix. This is, if you're using a database that already has tables in it, or already has data in it, you can opt to put a prefix in front so that way it doesn't create any conflicts with other data that's already in it. We created a new database, so I don't need that prefix, but I found that it's just best if it recommends it, just leave it alone and go with the flow. Let it go. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And I'm going to take this opportunity to Control S, save this project before I lose all that info. And that's the admin section. Next, what we're going to do is build out our index page. So this is going to be the page where all of the content that we put into that admin section and into that database is going to be shown. Okay. So what we're going to do first is grab a CMS label. And what this does is allows you to put anything that goes into that database here. And this is where we got to do a little bit of styling, a little bit of design. So the first thing we have here is name, and we have different variables. So every time we put something into the database, every time we use the CMS and create a page with the CMS, all of these different fields get filled out. Okay? So at the top, we want the name to be shown because that's going to be the title of the page. And of course, you can style this. I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at Arial, but I am going to make it a little bit big because obviously this is the title of the page, so we're going to make that larger. I'm going to change this color over to this color, this purpley color. Okay. And I'm going to shrink that up just a little bit. And now I'm going to grab another label. I'm going to pop this down here, and we're going to put another variable into this. Okay, and make this smaller. And for this, we'll get rid of the CMS name, and maybe we'll go ahead and date created. Oh, you know what? I got to change that name to title. Okay. We're going to put the description in there. Maybe there's a little description for the page. Okay, so I'm going to bring this out just a little bit. This I actually need to change CMS name. That's not the title. I just messed that up. Title. Insert CMS title. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to style this just a little bit. Give it just a kind of a light gray color. Okay. And maybe just a little bit more. Just 10 pixels off. Straighten this out on the left. Okay. Okay, so now we have our page title. It's going to appear here, and whatever description we give the page is going to appear here, kind of like a subtitle. And next, what we're going to do is plop in our content, and for that, we're going to use this tool. It's called Cms View. And what that's going to do is show all of our content that we've added. So I'm going to line that up directly under the title, and then I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and hit the down button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes in 10 pixel increments, so I'm going to bring it up a couple more. Give it 80 pixels. Just shows a little bit of white space. In fact, I'm going to bring that up. Let's make it 70 pixels. So hit the down arrow 7 times. Okay, now we can want to make this a little bit taller. I'm going to say 1500. That's the problem with the CMS tools. What happens is, oh, it says auto. Maybe it will automatically adjust. I didn't think it did. Maybe it's a new feature. Let me drop it. Let's play with that a little bit. Let me drop this down to 500 pixels. And let's see if this area automatically adjusts size. When we add content to it. Okay, so now when you double click on the CMS view, you do have to input your information again. So the server, again, if you're going to be, database is going to be on the same server as your website, which it probably is. You're going to type in localhost. Okay, the name of the database. Table prefix is we've kept the same. The username. And the password for it, which was CMS demo, I believe. And we're going to hit, okay, actually, we can also style this. The only thing I'm going to change is the color again of the text. Just lighten it up a little bit. Hit OK, and that saves that. And I'm actually going to temporarily put a border on this just so I can see it. Actually, I'll go to transparent. That should give it a border. Nope. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to temporarily give that a border, which it actually has. Why am I not seeing that? Not seeing the border for some reason. Oh, none. Duh. Solid. Okay, there we go. Just so I can see where that's at, I'm going to remove that border before I publish this. All right, so the next thing we can do, let's go ahead and give it another label. And you can style this however you want, put your labels wherever you want. Add and remove things as you need. I'm going to remove the name, and let's go ahead and say maybe that's the created by date. Insert that, hit OK, and oops, Style, let me change that to the light gray color. Hit OK. All right. Do these have borders on them? They do. So we'll have to remove all of the borders from all of these. Okay, well, this is going to give us some data to play with, so let's go ahead and remove all these borders, and then I will publish this. And I'm using a new computer, so I'm actually going to have to pause this video while I set up my server to publish to it. Okay, so give me 1 second, and I will be right back. Alrighty, and I'm back. Now I have set up my FTP so I can publish this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Entire website is going to go to the demo, and we're going to go ahead and hit publish. I should have switched over to the admin page, but that's quite all right. I will deal with that once we are done. I should have hit pause while I published. You guys don't need to watch this little green bar move across. Almost, almost, almost. Come on. Alrighty. So we're going to get this little bug here because there's no info inside of that database just yet. We got to go to admin.php. That was the admin page that we put together. And failed to connect to database server. Alright, that means my password was wrong. So let's go back to here and check this out. I'm not sure if I can change a password or not. I don't think so. Oh, let's see here. Yes, I can. All right, good. CMS demo. We're going to change that to, what is this? I put in CMS demo. CMS demo. Change password. Okay. All right, let's try that again. I'm going to come back over here, hit F5. There we go. Now we're in. And we don't have a username for this. And the password was PASSWRD password. We'll log in. And we're in. So once you get in, you will see that there's a whole lot of nothing going on. And one of the things we have is new page. We can manage our plugins that we have. We can log out if we want to. So let's go ahead and click new page. And you can see here we have the options for our content. You can see we have a nice big content area now because I set that with that height to 650 pixels instead of 200. Otherwise it would have been like real short. And we have all these different fields that we can fill out for this page. So the first thing we want to do is give it a name. It's my first CMS page. Alrighty. And I'm going to go ahead and go over here to Lorem. Get some more Ipsum text real quick. Just so we have some content in there. Copy all that, paste it in there. Now we can start putting in other things such as titles. Just highlight that, and we can change the size of the font using the WYSIWYG editor here. And then we can maybe add in a photograph if we wanted to. Not sure if I have any photos. I may have to go find one. Like I said, this is a pretty new computer. Oops, totally spelled that wrong. Just do this. And there's a nice picture of a lion. We'll take it. Looks good. Alrighty. And oops, I guess we need to use a URL, so that's even better. Okay. Copy image URL. That's kind of a pain. Should be able to upload. Okay, pop that image in there. External URL, extra data. You can use extra data to display anything on the page that you want. So, you know, I don't know what you would want to use that for. Maybe you have a subscribe button or a pay now button, and or a link or something like that. You can put that in there. It'd have to be HTML code, obviously. Title. So we'll say line picture. It's great. That description that we put in here. It's a great picture of a line. Okay, you can optionally put in keywords if you wanted to. Owner, I believe that is the same as author, so you can put your name in there. I'm going to put in my name. Parent page, we don't have any other pages, but if this was a sub page to another page, we could select that there. But since this is the first page, there's no options for that. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now all that data that we just put in got dumped right into that. Got put right into that database that we set up. In fact, if we wanted to, let's go and we can actually check that if you want. Let's go take a look at that. You can see how that went in there. Go back to the cPanel main page, and we'll go into something called Php Myadmin. It's a very popular tool. Most, I think all cPanels have it. Most web hosts have that, and it's how you would go in and take a look at your databases. I have several, so we set up CMS demo for this. And you'll see here's all the different tables that we set up. And I think the first one we want to go take a look at, we can go in and look at is pages. And you'll see here's all the content we put in. Created by Brian Holder, that's what I typed in. Here's the title, the description. Okay, all the content, which is going to be in HTML format. Okay. So it's definitely working, which is really cool. And now the next thing we can do, you can edit this. You can copy that page if you wanted to make a new one or a different version of it. You can set it to be the home page so that that's the first page that people land on. Because as you notice, when we come over here and we go to CMS index, nothing is going to load. Let me type that in. Because we haven't set that as the home page. There's no front page for that, for this demo yet. However, you do notice that MySQL error is gone now. So if we set that to home page, we just click on no. Now it is the home page. And guess what? When we go over to index.php, that's the first page that loads. And you can see that the content did not stretch, which was what I was afraid of. That's why I like to make those really tall, because, you know, I don't like scroll bars within a web page like this. I wish that would just automatically resize. It's down now. It's a block all the way down at the bottom. But as you can see on this home page, now here's our title. Here's our little subtitle we gave it. Here's all of our content. Here's the title we made within the post. Here's our picture. Here's that timestamp that we put on the bottom of it. Okay. So let's go back over to our demo page. I'm going to hit back, or to our admin section rather. And let's go down and edit this page again. And you see we have all these options here. These are all the different plugins that we added when we published the admin section. So what we can do is just explore these a little bit. Let's click on downloads. And we want to enable downloads? Sure, let's go ahead and enable them. And you can select the folder on your server that they're going to be coming from. And you can select what file types. So if there's all kinds of different file types in there, but you only want people downloading PDFs or MP3s, for instance, then you can just type in the ones that you want. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and disable this because I don't really have anything in there for anybody to look at, but it's an interesting thing to have. Form, if you want to put on a form, you can enable this. And enable email, yes. So who's going to receive this form when it's filled out? Okay, email reply to, who's it coming from, and who's, you know, if somebody hits the reply button, where does it go? The subject of the email that gets sent from the form, and any kind of message that you want in there. You can also have a Captcha You'll need to go to google.com/reCaptcha to get a key. You need a public key and a private key. That is free if you need that. And then you have the fields here, so you can add new fields. So the first field, let's go ahead and add one here. And we'll just say that this is name. Okay, type. It can be an input, which is just a regular single line text block like this one. Email, the text area is a big text block like what you see right here. Checkbox, a select box, which is like a drop down, or hidden means that nobody can see it. So we'll just say somebody's going to send that form, their name is required, and we don't have any options that we need, so we'll go ahead and save the field. Okay, now you can add a new one. Let's say we want their email as well. Type in, why is this thing bouncing around? Okay, name is going to be email. Oh my God, this is driving me nuts. What's happening? Input email. That as well is going to be required. Oh my goodness, I'm losing my mind. And hit save. And that's it. Now we can go and view our page. And I'm actually going to put this in a new tab. It'll be easier for me. We need to figure out how to add that form into the page. Oh, what happened? It didn't save right. Okay, well, let's go ahead and add our email field again. Something happened. Getting very aggravated. Email is required. Save that. Okay, so something weird's happening here. It's not working. Well, let's just do it with the name. I'm not sure what's happening with that. Let's save it. So it's enabled. Now we can go and take a look. Did that even load? Okay, and there's our form down at the bottom. Not sure why that one's giving me some trouble. That's not, doesn't seem like that's working properly. Other things we can do, we have a photo album. So you could set up a folder on your server for a photo album, and you would just, the link to that folder, pop that in here, wherever that directory is. And then how many columns and rows do you want? How big do you want the photos? And hit save, and it's going to automatically pull all of the photos out of that album. And plop them at the bottom of that list there. You can have a mailing list down there, so for subscribers, discussion, and comments is probably the best one here. Go ahead and enable comments, and if you want to reCaptcha, you pop those in there. Moderation means does the administrator need to approve comments before they're just displayed, and who receives those. If you have it set up, who receives those notifications of the new comment, and who is it going to look like it's coming from. So let's go ahead and hit save because we changed it to enable. Come over here and take another look, reload, and you'll see now there's a comment section. No comments, and users can now add their comments to this if they'd like. Okay. The plugin manager shows you all the different plugins that we've enabled, and if you need to, you can disable some from this page. User manager. You can create new users, username, full name, email, and whether they're active or not. Okay. So that's that, and that's that. Now I think the next important thing we need to do is let's talk about the menu real quick. And so your CMS is going to need a menu to navigate people from page to page. And there is a CMS menu item down here in the toolbox. So let's go ahead and drag this out. And let's go ahead and size it up. I'm going to make this the size of the site. And I'm putting this on the master page that I have set up. Okay, I'm going to pop it right into this menu bar spot. I'm going to make it the height of the menu bar. Okay. And now we have a few options where we can stylize our menus here. So you can have a fixed width or a variable width. Fixed means that the width of the button is going to be the same for each menu option. Variable means that it's going to change depending on the padding settings that you set. I'm going to use a fixed width because I want to control the height. I want the height to be exactly 60 pixels. The width can be, let's say 120. Okay. Style, I want this to be my purple color as the background. I don't want a border on that. And we're going to have a white color for the text. And then hover, what happens when we hover over this? I think I'll go ahead and it's dark slate blue, which is that one. So maybe, I'll tell you what, let's go invert it. We'll make it white. Still don't want a border. And we'll make the letters purple when people hover. And I'm not going to get into the responsive web design on this tutorial. However, there's an option here for a breakpoint. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. And you see that menu item just changed. You'll notice that there are no options to add menu items into here. That's because all of the items that are in the menu are going to come from your CMS. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and I'm going to switch over to the index page so that when I hit preview, that's what shows up. Or hit after I publish this. But we're going to go ahead and publish this now. I'm going to spare you the green line of death here. Alrighty, so here we are. This site has been published. Let's go ahead and hit preview or view published site. And you'll see here it is. This is my first CMS page. And apparently there's some settings that I need to play with a little bit more to make that work properly. But you see how that menu item shows up in there. And now if we go back to our admin section. And what do we got here? What is this about? I think because it's using the same master frame, the admin section should probably have its own master frame or not have a master frame at all. So let's go ahead and add a new page. And I'm going to show you how that affects that menu bar. So the name, let's say about. Okay. And I'm just going to copy all the text on this page. Do more MIPS in there. Holy shit, what happened? I didn't know I could do that. Oh, that's different. I thought I could just copy the text. Alright, there we go. So, there's that. A little bit of content on the page. Alright, now we're going to give this page a title. And a description. And we got to spell description right. Keywords owner again is Brian. Okay, parent page. We can make that the parent page if you want it to be a sub page. And we will also, let's go ahead and do that. Hit save. And now that that's saved, let's go back over to the index page. And you'll see that we have the first CMS page, and oop, there's our about page because we made it a sub page. Now that's a drop down. All right. So, like most things in WYSIWYG Web Builder, the CMS tools are fun to play with. They're easy to use. I think the hardest part is probably getting that database set up and connecting it to it. And hopefully, I walked you through that well enough that you can do that. If you have any questions, definitely pop on over to WYSIWYGpages.com. We got the forums opened up. There is a free registration. There's also a premium registration, which will give you a couple of extra options. But if you have any questions at all, come on over to the question and answer forum, and that is open to all users. Post your questions in there, and I will try to get to them, as well as other members of the site can answer. And we can see that there was a question posted by Mario not too long ago, and hopefully I answered Mario's questions with that. You can see I put a response in there, gave him a nice image, kind of show him where he needed to paste a piece of code. And looks like I did help him out, so that's good. And if you have any questions, you can get the same treatment. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the inside. Thanks.